Hello, my name is Shirley Self and I'm here to talk astrology. Tonight I wanted to continue my discussion of the phases of the moon, the journey of the soul according to William Butler Yeats. So we've come to moon phase 9. Moon phase 9 is the second phase in the water quarter. Here the will is going to learn to control and use his emotions, learn to use the subconscious mind, the creative mind. So remember, we've had a static war here that finally moon phase 8 had it virtually explored its weaknesses, and it explored and had to find its strength. Up here at the mask, it had to find its strength in order to step off into this water quarter. So here at moon phase 9, that's where the wrath of the Demogorgon is dumped into powering the sun here on the water level. The wrath of the Demogorgon. So these are, you might say, emotional people. Powerfully emotional people. They have a very passionate nature. Yeats says they have a vehement nature. They're a furious nature. They're and because this is their body of fate. Well, this is the rectangle of the truth seekers. Truth seekers. And moon phase 9 is seeking the truth of its of itself, of what it wants to do, the truth of its passions. So so we've got here a physical adept. That is the body of fate of moon phase 9. Their body has a wondrous ability to feel its where it is in space. It's this physical adept is aided by the mask over there is in the number 23, the technician, and skill, technical skill is what one of the things that the technician will bring to moon phase 9, as the moon phase 9 owns its descendant as well as its ascendant. So what we're going to be doing here is starting to tame the power of the imagination. And the power of moon phase 9 is tremendous. They can rise as high as I can imagine them going. Their imagination is very important, because if they can imagine themselves doing it, they can accomplish it. So so these people are geared up to follow their passions into the world. Remember, if the energy isn't used, it turns violent. So this emotional energy is furious, it's intense, and it's easily disturbed by the climate, the emotional climate around it. So to calm itself, it needs to focus its energies, its emotional energies, onto some discipline, some wonderful thing that they want to do. When I remember when I was trying to find moon phase 9s, they weren't that easy to find. I found one in a cemetery in, where is it, Oklahoma, where the a circus cemetery is. And a moon phase 9, it was a tightrope walker. So that gave me my first clue, is to look for people who are extraordinary in their field, who, well, you know, moon phase 9, John Lennon is there. So anyway, if they can imagine doing it, they can accomplish it. And they need to use that imagination and help them to focus on virtually what they want to do, what their body loves to do. Except that now the body of fate, when we move over into here, the body of fate, and this is true for these people up here on the lunar side, the body of fate brings with it a lot of unfortunate stuff that you have to struggle free of. Limiting, confining stuff. And what that limiting factor is for moon phase 9 is this sensual body. This sensual body that lets moon phase 9 know where it is in space, know what it's doing, the incredible balance of these people. But it's the sensual nature is it just delights in all sorts of things. It delights in sex, and it delights in eating, and it delights in drinking, and it delights in screwing around, and all those delights are going to trip up moon phase 9. Her sensual nature must be controlled, or it will control moon phase 9. The sensual nature is the source of her powers, and need to be focused, absolutely focused, and learn discipline. That's the mask up here, is the discipline of one's powers. And there's the technique that is so easy, comes so easy to moon phase 9, technical skill. The will was, remember this is the growth of the sun here, and the Mars, the minion of the sun, has been perfected here. And Mars is not comfortable diving here into the water quarter. So needs the guidance of the mask up here to keep it focused, to keep it busy and into its discipline, following its passions. Needs a reason and philosophy of moon phase of moon phase 21, which is its creative genius. Uncommon good sense is up there at moon phase 21. So all these moon phases over here in the water quarter have a moral, spiritual mask. They're seeking to be unity of what Yeats calls unity of being. Personality over here is no longer instinctive, it's now deliberately created. Look at how fixed this is. We've got here in Cancer, 9 is in the Scorpio decadent. Up here at the creative genius, we've got the Leo decadent. Over here in the mask, we've got the Taurus decadent. And over here in the body of fate, we've got the Aquarius decadent. So these people are very fixed in their attitude. Their perspective is pretty much their own. Once they get an idea in their head, they are not easily dissuaded. Their imagination is exceedingly powerful, and Yeats said they need the brutal facts of life to ground them. And that means, well, my granddaughter, who is a moon phase 9 and is one of those incredibly creative people, knows how to gut and skin and carve up an elk. And that is exceedingly important for her, that she deal with reality in a very matter-of-fact way, because their imagination can just go nuts. The people that they're interested in are the people that are interested in the same things they're interested in. They're not particularly interested in extraneous stuff. They're focused, and the people that are in the same field as they are their friends. A problem these people can have is they can dominate anywhere. They're so intense so emotionally intense. And their fury is so incredibly wild. Their rage is truly an awesome thing. They can be incredibly brutal. They can be domineering, because of that rage. And when they're out of phase, they will be very domineering. They will be obscure and drifting, and they will have lost their ideal. The passions will have no focus. They'll not accomplish anything. This is very hard on them. They've got this Leo up here that is their creative genius, and that's what they want to do. They want to excel, and they need to excel, because while they're into the venture of becoming something amazing, someone amazing, they're discovering their capacities. And learning, like I say, that discipline of the emotions is very important. And it is the highlight of the next moon phase. Moon phase 10 owns itself emotionally. These people, because of this powerful, we've got Scorpio here and it moves into Pisces. Powerful imagination. If they're not focusing properly onto their own creative endeavors, they'll live in fear. They'll live in terror. Yeats calls it a savaged, terrified violence in them. So that terror is an inversion of the courage and the belief in themselves that is their capacity, that guides them to the heights of the world. So some wonderful moon phase 9s we've got Joseph Campbell, John Lennon, Rembrandt, Robert Louis Stevenson. Moon phase 9 that's had trouble keeping his focus is Charlie Sheen, who was so tempted and was so astonished to discover that just because he could live the life he thought everybody wanted to live, that it was not appreciated by other people, and it wasn't doing him much good. So he was dealing with the negative, the problems that comes with this sensual body of fate. So let's look at the Kabbalah for a minute here. And the cards we've got here, Moon phase 9 and its mask 23 are here at the Hermit. And this is that card. This is from the Weight deck. Here's the one from the Golden Dawn deck. I actually prefer the one from the Weight deck for I don't know what reason. Anyway, this the Hermit is right here connecting the sun to its highest spiritual nature here, and it's a Virgo, ruled by Virgo, and it is hand. It is virtually the hand of God. The hand, as you know, is the ultimate creative tool. And we've got a completed adept here, a completed adept who is now ready to carry his light into the world and accomplish with it. And this is true of both Moon phase 9 and Moon phase 23. Technical skill is important. Virgo has everything to do with technique. Let's see it again. He's got a rod, and that refers to the power over the Kundalini. There's an influx of untamed energy in this card and in these two moon phases. And so it's appropriate that that Virgo, that they learn to use those energies by working with them. So, oh, and to carry one's light down into the world. That's one of the meanings of the hermit. So here's the other one, and this is the creative genius and the body of fate. And the body of fate, as I pointed out, is you can be taken over. You can be become unfree, and you will be taken over by some of these things that you've been chopped off, some of the things that should no longer conquer you or be a factor in your life will become a factor in your life and lead you astray. That's those sensual desires. That is the curse of the moon phase 9. But I wanted to point out that the skeleton, he is a skeleton here, is riding a horse. And that means he's got bridle and saddle. He's in control of that horse. He's in control of his physical powers. Now, there's another card, which I do not have handy right here, that is the Weight deck Sun. And it is a picture of a young kid happily sitting on a horse. The horse has no bridle, no saddle. The kid it shows that experience is going to teach this child to control his horse, his physical, and actually all of his capacities. That's represented by the horse. So and death has everything to do with the test of strength of character and the search for truth. So let's look at a moon phase 9. This is Alan Turing. The information for Alan Turing is the 24th of June in 1912. He was born at 2:15 a.m. in London. Now notice the ascendant is in Gemini, and it is ruled by Mercury, which is in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, which is in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So this gives him a lot of power, just right there on the ascendant. He's got a kind of a round robin. He's a sweetheart, I think. So the Saturn in the at 28 Taurus, unaspected in the 12th house, is conjunct Alcyone, which is a fixed star, and one of its attributes is intellectual breakthroughs. So here we have Alan Turing, and the intellectual breakthrough that he was responsible for was to break Enigma, the codes of the Germans during World War II. And there was there's a movie out with Benedict Cumberbatch about Alan Turing and Enigma. And it does show, the movie does show the determination and the virtually the aloneness of the man in his job. And that's that Saturn in the 12th house is having to, and it's unaspected, which gives him a lot of leeway there. But it also means that he wants to do what he wants to do and is not cooperative. In spite of the fact that he's got that Jupiter and Sagittarius over there, he did work with other people, but it was an inconjunct. It's an inconjunct. That Jupiter is inconjunct to the Mercury, and it's uncomfortable for him. He's got another inconjunct between the Sun and that Uranus on the midheaven, up there in 2 Aquarius, the 3rd degree of Aquarius. And so what else do I want? Okay, that Mars is in an interesting aspect to Uranus. It's a 165 aspect, which is an aspect of dogged determination. His Jupiter is conjunct Antares, which is a royal star, and that brings up issues of tolerance and intolerance. And Alan Turing was a homosexual back in a day when there was nothing gay about it. It could actually put you in prison, which it did to Oscar Wilde. He was imprisoned. Now, it's interesting that Oscar Wilde was a moon phase 23, which is the opposite of our moon phase 9 here. And going to prison virtually killed him. He did not die in prison. He died of prison. So back in the day when Alan Turing was trying to solve the problems of Enigma, he was also outed for being a homosexual. And so after the war, because he was a valuable person, I guess the government of England decided not to go after him and put him in prison for being a homosexual, but to cure him instead. And so look at that Neptune down there in the third house. That's, I think, the cure. They gave him drugs, and that was he was going to be chemically cured of his homosexuality. But that Neptune is in a square to the moon and the south node, and all of that is also in square to his Mercury, and the Neptune's in his third house, and it drove him crazy. And so his Venus at 28 Gemini, which is one of the main rulers of his chart, is at a Sabian symbol, which is relief from a pressure too great to bear. And he killed himself. He killed himself. Now that North Node is up there in the 12th house. And so I really do believe that his nodes were telling him, do not hide, dude, hide your Mars. Notice it's ruled by this Mars in Leo down here in the 4th. Hide your Mars. If you're going to be indulging in homosexual activities, be very discreet about it. The South Node is down there in letting other people know who and what he was doing. And so his horoscope was trying to tell him, do not indulge in your body of fate. The body of fate. It's over here. The body of fate is over here in Taurus in the 12th. And that is ruled by the Venus. The creative genius is over there in the 6th house. And it's in Scorpio, and it's ruled by that Mars that worked so hard to solve Enigma. So that's a moon phase 9. They're emotionally powerful people. And if they've got something that they really love to do, they will be kind and useful and generous with their time. So that's moon phase 9. Tomorrow I will do, I'm always looking to see it there and it's on the floor, moon phase 10. And may your life be blessed, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.